Have you ever sat quietly in a room full of people and still felt completely alone? I remember the day I moved into the nursing home like it was yesterday. Everyone kept telling me it was the safe choice, the practical one. My kids meant well. The brochures were full of smiling faces, the staff seemed kind, and they had activities every week. On paper it looked perfect, but not everything in life can be seen on paper. If you're over 60 and considering your next step, or if someone in your life is pressuring you to move into a nursing home, this video is just for you. I want to share with you 5 hard truths I wish someone had told me before I made that decision. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you, because you deserve to know the whole picture before giving up the independence you've worked your whole life to build. Let's talk honestly about it, because the truth is, not all regrets come with a second chance, and sometimes those regrets whisper slowly in the quiet of a room where your name is just another line on a whiteboard schedule. So, let me take you back to the beginning. The first hard truth I learned, and maybe the hardest one to admit, is this. When you move into a nursing home, you lose more than just space. You lose a little bit of yourself. Now, I don't mean your personality or your memories. Those stay with you. But the small routines that define who you are, how you make your coffee, when you go for your evening walk, the way you talk to your neighbor or water your plants, those things start to disappear. At first, it's subtle. You're told meals are served at a certain time, medications are given on schedule, lights out by 9, and you think, well, that's fine, I can adjust. But little by little, your personal rhythm is replaced by someone else's schedule. You wake up one day and realize your life is no longer yours. You're being managed, monitored, measured. Everything becomes a system, and you're just a piece in it. It's not that the staff doesn't care. Many of them do. But they're caring for dozens of people, and no matter how kind they are, they can't know you like you know you. They won't remember that you like your toast barely golden, or that you enjoy reading in the bathroom because it's the quietest place in the house. The second truth hits you even harder. The feeling of being forgotten is worse than being alone. Home, even on your loneliest days, you have your familiar surroundings, your favorite chair, that worn-out photo album you still flip through. In a nursing home, even though you're surrounded by people, it's not the same. The visits from family grow shorter, less frequent, not because they don't love you, but because they think you're taken care of. You have nurses, meals, activities. What more could you need? But here's the thing. No activity can replace genuine connection. You don't need a bingo night. You need someone to look you in the eyes and ask, how are you really doing? You need someone who listens to your stories, not because it's their job, but because they care. One day, I realized I hadn't heard my full name in weeks. Not Mr. or Sweetie or Grandpa, but my name. The name my mother gave me. It's a small thing, but it reminded me I was becoming invisible. That's when I started noticing the others. Residents who used to talk now sat quietly in corners. People stopped asking questions. Some just stared at the television all day. And I wondered, is this where I'm headed to? It's a tough thing to admit, but if you've ever felt invisible, like your voice doesn't matter anymore, you'll understand what I mean. Now, before you think I'm just here to rant, let me say this clearly. Not every nursing home is the same. Some are better than others, and for some people, it really is the best option. But for many of us, we weren't told the full truth. We were told about the safety, the structure, the support. We just touched on something important, that once you move into a nursing home, people begin to treat you differently. And this brings us to the third hard truth I learned, one that still stings every time I think about it. People stop seeing you as capable. It's subtle at first. Maybe a nurse offers to help you tie your shoes, even though you've done it just fine for 75 years. Or someone insists on pushing your wheelchair, even when you only use it occasionally. You smile and accept it, thinking, They're just being nice. But over time, that constant help chips away at your confidence. You start second-guessing yourself. You begin to wonder, maybe I can't do it anymore. Maybe I shouldn't try. That's a dangerous thought, because when you stop trying, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, well, that's when the real decline begins. You see, one of the biggest threats to our independence isn't age, it's how others respond to our age. When people assume we're fragile, incapable, or confused, they start making decisions for us instead of with us. And if we're not careful, we begin to believe them. I remember one day I wanted to go outside, just for a short walk around the garden. A staff member stopped me and said, "You really shouldn't be out here alone." I told her I was fine. I'd done this walk dozens of times. But she insisted, "It's for your safety." I get it, I really do. But at what point does safety become a cage? I wasn't asking to climb a mountain. I just wanted 10 minutes with the breeze, the birds, the sun on my face. I didn't want a chaperone. I wanted freedom. And it wasn't just the staff. Even my own children started treating me differently, calling less often, assuming I was busy with scheduled activities. When they did visit, they'd talk to the staff more than they talked to me. "How's Dad doing?" They'd ask the nurse while I was sitting right there. That kind of thing wears on you, because here's what no one tells you. When people treat you like you're no longer capable, you start to feel invisible in your own life. This leads us straight into the fourth truth, and this one is a little tougher to talk about, but it's something you need to hear if you're considering a nursing home. Community does not always mean connection. Now, one of the selling points of most nursing homes is the sense of community. They tell you about the game nights, the group lunches, the dance classes, and sure, those things are real, they happen. But being in a room with people doesn't guarantee you'll feel connected to them. I'll be honest, just because everyone in a place is over 70 doesn't mean you're going to have a lot in common. I remember sitting in the common room one afternoon, watching a group play cards. They were laughing and chatting, but something felt off. I couldn't quite explain it until one of the ladies leaned over and whispered, "We just play because there's nothing else to do." She smiled, but it was the kind of smile that hides a deeper sadness. It turns out a lot of people weren't really connecting, they were just passing time. They had grown tired of trying to make new friends again and again, especially in a place where people often come and go. The reality is, in nursing homes, people pass away, they move out, and that constant cycle makes it harder to build lasting bonds. You don't realize how lonely you can feel in a room full of people until you live it. At home, even if you're alone, it's your home. You know the creaks in the floor, the smell of your favorite candle, the way the afternoon sun hits your chair just right. That kind of comfort is powerful. It anchors you. In a nursing home, you get a room. Maybe you hang a few pictures, put out a plant or two, but it's not the same. You're sharing walls with strangers, adjusting to someone else's idea of how life should run. And the sad part is, you start to forget what real connection feels like. That's when I started writing letters too. You've stayed with me this far, and I appreciate that more than you know. This conversation isn't easy, but it's necessary. Because the fifth and final truth I want to share with you is perhaps the one that changed me the most. It's this: the longer you stay in a nursing home, the harder it is to leave. Not because you can't, but because you forget how. Now, let me explain what I mean. I didn't realize it at first. I thought I'd just stay for a little while, maybe recover, maybe get my bearings again after a health scare. But weeks turned into months, months blurred into seasons, and somewhere along the way, I stopped planning for the future. I stopped dreaming. I stopped imagining a life outside those walls. That's the danger. It's not the facility itself, it's what it does to your mindset. It wraps around you like a soft blanket, comfortable, predictable, safe, but it also numbs you. Your edges dull, your spark dims. You begin to believe this is it. This is where your story ends. I'll never forget the day I looked out the window and realized I didn't remember the last time I made a decision for myself. Not a big one, not even a small one. Someone else was always choosing what I'd eat, when I'd wake up, when I'd shower, even what music played in the hallway. That realization hit hard because I remembered who I used to be. I was the woman who fixed a leaky faucet at 70. The man who helped a neighbor carry groceries, even with a sore back. The grandparent who took the bus across town just to surprise the grandkids with ice cream. And suddenly, I felt so far from that person. The truth is, when you stop practicing freedom, you lose the muscles that support it, your confidence, your instincts, your willpower. You forget how to be bold. You stop asking for more, and that's not just sad, it's dangerous, because life after 60, 70, even 80 doesn't have to be small. It doesn't have to shrink. It can still be rich, meaningful, full of purpose. But only if you keep moving forward. Only if you stay connected to the why of your life, not just the where. Now, I know some of you watching might already be in a facility. Maybe it was your choice, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the best option at the time, and I respect that deeply. But what I want to say to you is this. Don't forget who you are. You are still you. You are not your room number, not your medication list, not a patient. You are a whole person with stories to tell, talents to share, wisdom the world still needs. Even if the world isn't asking for it right now, give it anyway. Start writing again. Pick up that paintbrush. Call your old friend. Sing your song. Ask the staff to let you lead a workshop or teach the young aides something they've never learned in school. You're not done, not by a long shot. And if you're not in a nursing home yet, if you're standing at that crossroads, weighing your options, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and remember this: you have more choices than you think. Aging doesn't mean surrendering your power. It means learning how to use it differently. Maybe you don't move as fast. Maybe your memory plays tricks on you. But your wisdom, your courage, your right to live a life that feels like yours, that's still intact. You don't have to go it alone either. There are alternatives: in-home care, senior cooperatives, shared living, local support networks. Get creative, get vocal. Let your family know your preferences clearly while you still have a strong voice to say them. Because if you don't speak up, decisions will be made for you. And those decisions, even when well-meaning, might not reflect what your heart truly wants. I wish someone had told me that before I moved. I wish I had asked more questions, pushed back a little, dreamed bigger. But the beautiful thing about life is that it's never too late to start again, even if the start is simply a shift in mindset. Since leaving the nursing home, and yes, I did eventually leave, I've made it my mission to... Now, before we close this chapter together, there's one more thing I want to talk about, something that didn't make it onto the original list of hard truths, but may be the most important lesson of all. It's about forgiveness. Not forgiving others, although that's important too, but forgiving yourself. You see, for a long time after I left the nursing home, I carried around this deep, quiet guilt. I felt like I had failed to stand up for myself sooner, failed to plan better, failed to ask more questions, say no when I should have, or speak up when I felt uncomfortable. I replayed conversations in my mind, reimagined the moment I agreed to go, wondered what would have happened if I had just waited one more week, one more month. But that kind of thinking, it doesn't help. It only weighs you down. It keeps you stuck in a place you've already left behind. And that's when I realized something powerful. Regret is only useful if it leads to wisdom, not punishment. It's okay to say, I made a choice, and now I see it differently. That's not weakness, that's growth. And if you can take what you've learned and use it to help yourself or someone else, then nothing was wasted, not a single moment. Maybe you're watching this and feeling that same tightness in your chest, thinking of your own decisions, wondering if it's too late to change direction. Let me tell you from the bottom of my heart, it's not. In fact, that's one of the hidden blessings of aging. When we're younger, we make choices in a hurry, with noise all around us, rushing from one thing to the next. But as we get older, we start to see things more clearly. The fog lifts, and yes, sometimes that clarity brings regret, but it also brings understanding, wisdom, grace. So give yourself some grace today. Forgive yourself for the moments when fear made your decisions. Forgive yourself for trusting the wrong advice. Forgive yourself for being tired, overwhelmed, or unsure. You're human. You did your best with what you knew at the time. And now that you know more, you can choose differently. Maybe that means finding a new place to live, or setting firmer boundaries with family, or finally having the hard conversation about what you want in the years to come. Whatever it is, do it for you. You've spent so much of your life caring for others. This is your time. I want to pause here and speak to those of you who are caregivers, sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, spouses. I know many of you are watching too, trying to do the right thing for someone you love. And I see your heart. I know this journey isn't easy, but I hope you'll take this video as an invitation, not to feel guilty, but to lean in, to really listen to the person in your care, not just their medical needs or physical safety, but their voice, their autonomy, their desire to still be in the driver's seat, even if you're helping navigate. It's not about avoiding nursing homes altogether. Sometimes they are the right option, but it should never be the default. It should be discussed with honesty, love, and full transparency, with respect, because dignity doesn't retire when we do. It should follow us to the very end. And let's be real, this culture doesn't always value older people. We're sold the idea that youth is everything, that aging means decline, irrelevance, invisibility. But I'm telling you, you are the proof that's not true. You are still valuable, still vibrant, still needed. That's why this channel exists, not to scare you with harsh truths, but to equip you with them, to tell you what no one else is saying, so you can live with more power, more confidence, and more joy in every season of life. And now that we've come full circle, I want to ask you something. What does freedom look like to you now? Is it waking up in your own bed, choosing your own breakfast, watering your own plants? Is it having the courage to say, I want something different?